All right, good morning once again and welcome back to TV47 Breakfast with me, Ann Odida. Karibu sana. Being a Tuesday, today we're talking matters business and we want to look at CHAMAs. Are they really a viable form of investment? And with me in studio, I have financial consultants, basically experts in this money thing industry. They're going to talk to us and help us make sense of this conversation. And the question you're asking you online, can youth groups be the new investment hack? Once again, can youth groups be the new investment hack? So we're talking about circle groups. We're also talking about saving groups. That is, CHAMAs venye tunaita kwa Kiswahili. And basically how youth can build wealth. Is CHAMAs the way to go? Talk to us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag me at Ann_Dida. We'll be sure to sample your feedback right here on the show. You can also call in live 0793267279. That's also our WhatsApp line. Karibu sana. Just to introduce my guest today, Ann Someja kwa show. My name is Ann. We have Ann here, Anthony. This is CPA Anthony Njiru. He is a financial expert. We do also have Anna Chieng. Ann is a financial consultant, and of course, Isha Dunga, finance consultant. Ama na tweng jina yako sana. Isha Dunga.
Oh, even if you say Isha Dunga.
It's still your name.
It's still my name.
That's a very...
It depends on the speed with which you pronounce it.
Some of this level of speed that your name has been
so you see
pronounced.
Now when you just do it, correctly, it is Isha Dunga.
Isha Dunga. Lakini kama Mkenya umepatana naye pale sema Isha Dunga.
If you get a Luo who does not know how to put the H.
Isha Dunga.
Right.
Me being a Luo upate narusha hapo Isha Dunga. Na pia naona umedunga. You all look nice this morning.
Thank you.
Every day on this show on Tuesday specifically, I beg your pardon. Huwa napatana na majina very very interesting. Leo niko na Isa, last week nilikuwa na Levi. Very interesting. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for braving the rains. We're talking about CHAMAs this morning. Right. And CPA, just to start with you, yes. What makes CHAMA a CHAMA? Usually tunajua this is just something that is a merry-go-round. Ninatoa 100, Anna anatoa 100, Isha anatoa 100, and then, it's just a merry-go-round. Nakula hii wiki, unakula ile wiki ingine. But really just looking at it in depth, what makes CHAMA a CHAMA?
Thank you. Yes, CHAMAs basically are semi-formal or informal groupings where people save regularly. Eventually, some of them graduate into investments clubs, but they have their advantages as well as the inherent limitations in terms of governance, which makes them difficult to survive in the long run. But there are few of them that have ended up being substantial in terms of providing channels for investment. But a CHAMA, basically what makes a CHAMA is that it's a group of people coming together and agreeing that we shall regularly contribute. The regularity of the contribution could be weekly, could be monthly, and so on. Yes.
And what's your understanding of CHAMA in this day and age? Because, CHAMA si kitu mpya. This is something that has been there since the time of our mothers. And sai tuko in a digital age kwanza. So what's your understanding and the evolution of CHAMAs?
My CHAMA understanding is that, way back when we saw our parents going for these CHAMAs.
CHAMA.
Yes, we just knew it's just a space where they're going to contribute money, kujua nini, moshene also, from the moms and stuff. And then also we'd see them maybe borrowing loans here and there to now sustain their needs and stuff. So that is basically my former idea of CHAMAs. But now CHAMAs with us youths is more on the digital sides. Yes, our CHAMAs are mostly online. We are doing things like MMFs and stuff. So CHAMAs have now shifted from meeting up together, coming together to speak, to talk, and also contribute money to now just doing everything online. Yeah, M-Pesa is there, apps are there, so you do chamas through apps. So so that is what now youths are now adopting in this new age and era. Yes.
Isha, that conversation about MMF has come up, you know, when Anne was speaking.
Yeah.
And I just want to know how now it ties to chamas, because every time you're talking about investments, Sai Kwanza youth, they're so big on MMF. But I really also wonder if the youth quite understand what MMF does, how to join it, how you're going to get your investment at the end of your saving journey. Wanasema sijui ukianza kusave 1,000 bob a month, by the end of 40 years, you are a millionaire. You have about 13 million shillings and all. But how does MMF now tie to chamas?
Thank you so much. Probably before I get now to the perspective of the MMF, I want to join my colleagues in putting up maybe an opinion about what chamas could be these days.
Nakuruka jamani. I'm jumping over you.
Yeah, so when we look at the financial inclusivity gap within our country, there are a lot of reasons that are really pushing the youths and the entire majority that may not be in a position to meet up to the qualifications of becoming financially included within the formal sector to now come up with the CHAMA groups. Ideally, the concept of the CHAMA is a way through which the members are able to probably access finances without following that formal procedures that have been put by the formal financial institutions. And so that concept, it's like, you know me, I know him, he knows me, you know, and then we bring our funds together. But you've got greater needs, then you can be able to pick the part of that money, go use it, and the guarantee is the fact that we know you and we are together. So it beats now the normal financial inclusivity aspect, which the financial institutions have been able to put in place. And so the chamas and the informal groups are the concept of coming together to put their funds together to meet their financial needs, either in the short or the long time, so that they can be able to, you know, circumvent the procedures that have been put by the by the MFIs, that is now the financial institutions that are already existing. Now come to the concept of the MFI, the MMF. The MMF. MMF in full is money market fund. Somebody will be there asking, what are these people talking about? What is this? So what is now an MMF? Now an MMF is basically a concept whereby you take your money and you give it to somebody to invest it on your behalf and then give you a return which is predetermined. And whoever you are giving your money has been vetted, checked and qualified by a regulator called the Capital Markets Authority. So the Capital Markets Authority qualifies this person and gives him the license to be able to check how he is going to invest the money that he gets from the people. And then the rules are very strict. So as an individual and as a CHAMA, you could be coming together to collect your money. And when you collect this money, you could be having excess. Members are not borrowing everything. So you have got some excess. People normally take this excess and put it in the MMF, and then they expect a return of about maybe 9, 10, or 11, depending on the type or the institution that you are choosing for your MMF investments. And particularly, when you also look at the concept within the individuals, somebody with excess cash, not necessarily excess, even as a form of investment, you'd want, when you were just in the waiting room, I was looking, Anthony has written a book and there's a topic there, let your money give birth to children. So I was just trying to check on that. When you want your money now to start giving birth to children, now that MMF is one way through which a channel you can follow to make sure that that money can be able to become productive. Yes.
So in essence, we're saying MMFs are also chamas.
Well, MMF is an option for chamas as a way through which they can be able to grow themselves and become much more productive. But it's just by a single channel, but may not be the major concept and the major ideology
of a
for those chamas coming together.
All right. Anthony, let your money give birth to children. Can chamas do this? Can chamas, when you're talking about MMFs, it gives you interest. It's not necessarily a CHAMA, but it came up, right?
Yes.
But MMFs, at the end of the day, if I give you 1,000 bob and you save it for me, you might give it back at 1,200. I don't know if that is how it works, but thereabout. Then can CHAMAs possibly give birth to children from the book that you've written? Is this possible?
Yes, yes. The money market fund, being a collective vehicle, their funds, where people pool their funds together, is one way. It's a way of they mirror what CHAMAs are doing, but without necessarily having to know who the other party is. It's important to appreciate that the collective investment vehicles in Kenya are only about 25 years old. So it's a concept that started around the turn of around the year 2000. Indeed, formal regulation by CMA was in 2002. For them to form an association was around 2008. Now, the comparative to that would be SACCOs, the savings and credit cooperatives. Now, when you look at many youths are choosing to go for the collective investment vehicles, CIVs, and these CIVs are regulated by CMA, and they provide collective funds where people pool their funds together that are also regulated by CMA. So the CMA regulates the fund manager as well as the funds. It's important to take note of that. So that when we are investing, we would want to put our money in regulated funds. However, in Kenya, MMF now being one of those funds has been abused. Because in an ideal world, when you look at an MMF, is a short-term investment. Some people are going to use them for long-term. And the problem with an MMF is easily accessible. So anytime you feel you are a bit broke, umeinama, you can quickly pull back the money. So, but MMF is a good platform, provides us with an avenue for putting up excess money or emergency funds, or what we call sinking funds. Like as a CHAMA, probably we want to accumulate funds for buying land. So we could open an MMF account, we contribute there, it continues to earn interest, so that we do not want to have money that is not earning. So this money earns interest over the time. Once we identify the piece of land we want, and we have accumulated sufficient funds, then we can proceed and buy the land. So it's a good investment, but it's important to note there are other collective investment funds other than just MMF.
You forgot to answer about CHAMAs.
Yes.
Can it give birth to children?
Yes.
If I put my money there, really, just how do they now grow to that extent where, and I'm comparing this with MMF.
Yes.
Because 1,000, I'll get 1,200. How about CHAMAs? Because I'm assuming that money is just sitting there in somebody's M-Pesa. Because sahi tunatuma, pesa na M-Pesa, unatuma 1,000 yako, unatuma 2,000, but it just sits there. Then can it give birth to children?
The unfortunate bit for many CHAMAs is what we call merry-go-rounds. So you give me 1,000 shillings, 1,000, everybody, we are 10 of us, we get 10,000. The next round, probably I get the 10,000 that way. So that money is not earning any income. And in any case, if we are placing it in a bank account, it does not grow. So the growth comes if we are able to lend back to our members, which is more now of table banking. And if we as a CHAMA, we are financially enlightened enough to know that instead of placing this money in the bank, we could even probably split a portion of it that goes to investment or MMFs or special funds. You may have heard of special funds, equity funds, bond funds. That is where now it starts bearing children. So if we are to be wealthy, our money must bear children, and the children must also be allowed to bear their own children.
Interesting. We'll still be getting deeper into that. Tuangalie kwa hiyo kitabu, what you're really focusing on and how we can also make our money parents, mothers.
Yes.
Waweze kuzaana.
Yes.
And in terms of now advancing financial inclusion especially for the Kenyan youth, looking at it, you as a young person in this country, do you think CHAMAs are the way to go? Just advancing that, financial inclusion that we've talked about for a very long time, that the youth are sidelined, and also women. That when you talk about financial inclusion, women are not anywhere in this bracket. So do you think CHAMAs are the way to go?
Well, CHAMAs are the way to go in the form that you see, as much as, yes, they are also MMFs, right? Individual MMF accounts, right? Youths also are now coming together to now set up collective MMF accounts, because you see if I have 1,000, you have 1,000, you have 1,000. When we now put it together, we have 3,000, 10,000, 100K.
Yeah.
From that also, you see, challenge is most youths lack capital. And so if you are able to come together as youths, create a small group, collect funds from those funds now, put it now in an MMF. An MMF is gonna grow those funds. From there onwards, our capital is growing monthly. And then from that also, use that growth, use that capital also to now invest in other schemes or even ventures. So MMFs, I mean, if you're doing it personally, you might never get to that point of now building a capital base. But then if you're doing it collectively, if you bring 10K, if I bring 10K, if you bring 30K, yes, we are able to now pool funds, accumulate capital towards now other great ventures.
All right. Isha, now at what point does this CHAMA move from a merry-go-round, just something that I get 1,000 and then you get 1,000 the next time, to an investment tool? Because if I'm looking at it, you know, it just moves. Nikipata hiyo thao naenda kununua nayo kiatu pale. Niliona some very good Balenciaga I want to get myself. And it costs 1,000 bob. Assuming sisi sote tunatoa, maybe that's 100 bob per, is it per day or per week? Tuweke per week. So how can we turn this into an actual investment tool and looking at it from the youth lens?
That is a very interesting question because I have been able to participate in very many CHAMAs. And
many, not even one.
Yes. In fact, during those days that I used to be a motorbike rider, we formed a CHAMA that became one of a very serious, formidable force in Kitengela. And I became one of the project leaders, being able to, lead this CHAMA into coming up with projects, buying, pieces of land. And our CHAMA name was called Kitengela Riders. Riders means the motorbike riders. And I can tell you that even if I continued to advance in my level of earning and in my capacity, I did not leave that CHAMA. And everybody has been converted from a rider to a driver, from that particular CHAMA. Actually, everybody is almost driving. We have got about 2 or 3 out of 20 something that are not driving, but around 2 or 3.
From the CHAMA?
Yeah, from the CHAMA. Literally from the CHAMA. Yes, that are drivers. In fact, we have got some members are having more than 3 cars. Yes, in that particular CHAMA. We are still riders.
How much were you guys contributing?
We were contributing 300 shillings per week. Yes. But you see now that is the minimum saving. So you could be able to save as much as you can. So we got this CHAMA and then now be able to register it with maybe with a bank within the country. And now so the bank is, using that bank we get to now support each other. The question that you're asking, how can now a CHAMA move from just coming together, merry-go-round, and become a formidable force in investments? Number one, the CHAMA must have a vision. Where do they want to go? You cannot come as a group, and I normally say this, you can't come together as a group simply to collect money and say that when somebody dies, we will be able to give this much. You can't be able to be planning for death, in as much as we can't assume. But then, when you come together as a CHAMA to be able to economically empower one another, the vision now starts to be the sole driver of where you are going. So a CHAMA can decide that they will come together, but then they select a custodian of their money. And this custodian could be a bank or could be another SACCO or whichever the kind of a financial institution they may be able to choose, depending on their vision. So an example, the CHAMA can decide that they are going to keep their money with a SACCO. So they go and check with the SACCO that what are your terms when it comes to each and every member's empowerment. And so the SACCO can tell you that you bring your money together collectively, open individual groups within this one main account, and then you keep your money so that when one of you wants a loan, you come and fill the forms, get the loan, but you are being guaranteed by that main account.
Yeah.
So you can be able to now start getting a financial inclusion, which could have not been possible when you would have been able to go alone. So that is how a CHAMA starts its journey from just being a merry-go-round into now a force that can be able to include them financially. At a point of time, you'll realize that, and this is what I've been able to introduce in some of our CHAMAs.
Yeah.
I've been in most of them. I mean more than 5 or 6 of them. In most of them, I'm the one in charge of projects, and they don't want to put me the chairman. They just want me to be leading the core agenda. This is what I've been able to put. As a CHAMA, you have one particular project that combines all of you, so that you each and every member become a shareholder in that project. And that project could be maybe a more static project like real estate. So you go and put up a farm or a shamba or maybe a plot that is maybe worth 2 or 3 million. But everybody has got some money in that 2 or 3 million. Then when each and every member wants a loan, you can simply borrow the loan, but you know very well if you default and you want to run away, we have got your share in the plot.
Yeah.
You get it? So you'd always want to stick around. I have another CHAMA that we have been able to subdivide the plot into each and every person having their own plots worth $500,000 each. But the plot's titles are still in the name of the CHAMA, and I'm the one keeping those titles.
Yeah.
The only way to qualify to have that title is when you're leaving the CHAMA completely and we have already cleared you. That's when we can give you the title, you go with it. These are ways through which a CHAMA can now convert into just being a merry-go-round or a collective, project into being an investment vehicle that can be able to empower each and every individual. And lastly, when you are also just about to form your CHAMA, especially for those who are listening to us and watching, you must ensure that you get those people that have got long-term vision and you are also aligned in terms of agenda, so that you don't start something but before it kickstart, it's already broken. You have got so much of diverse ideas that are not taking you forward. So with that, when you choose on a project or you choose on a particular line of thought, you'll be able to pursue it to the very end. And that is one way through which a CHAMA can convert from just being a merry-go-round thing to becoming a formidable force of a financial inclusive entity.
Yeah, and we'll be getting deeper into some of pointers that you've given us. I mean, I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Itabidi nimetafuta kachama pia mimi niingie. Labda nitakuwa na kaploti, nimeweka big machines, like you say your members had, but just to also contribute on that particular point, CPA.
Yes.
What now separates a CHAMA for one that grows wealth from one that just circulates money? And as we're talking about merry-go-round, ni nini sasa ita separate these two?
First, it's important to note, as my friend has mentioned here, Dunga, that many CHAMAs will survive if they have structure.
Yeah.
And then they are also dependent on the leadership. So there are risks inherent at the point of starting. There are many CHAMAs, we see the ones that have succeeded.
Yeah.
There are many that have failed. And then you may also ask yourself, why do we have more CHAMAs for youth and women than men? Why are men not forming? If you look at most CHAMAs, I'm sure if a survey was to be done in Kenya, you'll find that mostly it's the women and the youth.
I rarely see even men in CHAMAs.
Yes,
I'm
men
even
is
surprised.
very rare. Yeah, we have the exception here.
Yeah. Are you in one?
Yeah, I'm in only one.
Okay.
I'm in only one, and for us, basically, it's not more of a CHAMA. It's more of an investment-focused merry-go-round, where we contribute money weekly, but then we place it for you in your investment, most in a SACCO. So each of us is a member of a SACCO. We are only assisting each other to grow our deposits.
You're holding each other accountable?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So it's more of a peer review.
All right.
So for men, it's usually a bit difficult because chamas survive at the mercy of the leadership. And at times, men are more bold than ladies. So you find we are in a chama, we are 10 of us. It has the first one to be given their contributions. The minute the money hits my account, I switch off the phone. That is it. Or we are buying a piece of land.
Yeah.
We intend to do construction. I buy, probably I'm the treasurer, so I will source for the project. Before you even get to buying the project, I've already engaged with the owner so that we can hike the price a bit. So when the construction comes, I'm the one who is sourcing the material, the project becomes inflated. People give up along the way, so those projects end up becoming dead projects. That does not mean that chamas do not have a space, but what we need to get right at the point of formation of chamas, we try and put in structures. Then we also link them with formal institutions. If you have looked at the new law for SACCOs, the one that has been circulating around, one of the proposals is to allow chamas and corporate institutions to be entrenched in SACCOs formally. Because currently as they operate, SACCOs were formed for individuals. So when you talk of primary SACCOs, that is savings and credit societies, they had not been allowed to introduce corporate members without them affecting their tax position. So the new law that is being introduced is to allow that now seamlessly. So chamas, if we form a chama, instead of us giving money to one person, we open a chama account. MFIs have been doing it, banks, the microfinance institutions, where we have an account for chama. So our money is accounted for. We have a bit of security. So what can safeguard chamas so that they convert themselves into proper investment is structures right from the point of starting.
Yeah.
And having visionary leadership, as he has mentioned. Yes.
And do you think chamas work? And are you in any chama?
Well, I'm in one chama with my friends, but then we are doing it in a form of now MMFs. In that, but then I also agree with them that, you know what, for a chama to now come up, we need to have a goal and also a structure. Yes. And also everyone in this group needs to buy this goal because wealth also is a personal journey. Yes. As much as we come together, we are of one goal, one structure of now building one form of wealth. And so I find it also as a way of now helping us also grow wealth in a very structured, disciplined way. In that also there's also accountability. Accountability meaning that if we are either 3 friends, 4 friends with one same goal, we are going to now push each other to get to the goal quicker, unlike if you are doing it alone. So you see, it is best for people with the same goal, the same vision, and also if you want to get there quickly.
Isha, you say that in your chama when you're starting, the Kitengela riders, you used to contribute 300 Kenyan shillings as the minimum. But now I'd be interested to know, because this started as a merry-go-round, right? Ikienda hivi from Anthony and to Isha, then how much am I receiving if I only contributed 100 bob per week? You contributed 300 Kenyan shillings and contributed 1,000 bob. I contributed my 100 Kenyan shillings. Mkoshua sichomi wengine.
Yeah, you see, okay, let me start with the concept that we adopted, and then now I go to now what you're talking about. The concept we adopted is, one, we come together, and our goal is simply one, economic empowerment. And this one is done through financial inclusivity. So economic empowerment through that financial inclusivity now entails the group members coming together, then we open our account with one bank. So when we open our account with one bank, so the bank open 2 types of accounts. The bank open a certain virtual account for each member, where when you save the money, it goes to that account. But you can't be able to, number one, see that account or access it. You can only be able to get records of whatever you've saved on weekly basis. You get that concept? Then there is another account which now belongs to the group, one account, where when we contribute, the money goes into that account and we are able to access that account, see it, check it. So there are two types
Access
of
but not withdraw.
No, we can even withdraw. Yes. So we have got two types of accounts. One belongs to each member, each of us. We are a group like 4 of us.
Yeah.
I have account with that bank. You have account on.
What if I decide to withdraw and run away with our money?
Now that is what I'm coming.
Okay.
This we have really structured this thing in a very simple but quite regulated.
Yeah.
First of all, we form the group formally. We register the group through the Ministry of Gender, you know, and have a certificate. The certificate shows who are the leaders of this group, and then the minutes of forming the group, and then we say that we are now going to open a bank account. So we go to this bank and we tell the bank that we have allowed so and so as the chairman, so and so as the secretary, and another person as the treasurer to be our leaders who should be able to transact on our behalf. Then as a regulation, any transaction that we want to sanction, there must be minutes, and every member present must sign against that minute that we have sanctioned a withdrawal of this particular amount of money.
Yeah.
So, and we have got a small checkbook. There's a small checkbook which is used for withdrawing. That is not, it's not the same as the bigger checkbooks. So the check leaf accompanies the minutes of withdrawal, of the decision to withdraw. So you can't just go and withdraw money and get lost. But because this concept did not start as a merry-go-round thing. Merry-go-round is whereby you contribute, I contribute, we come together and we take that money, give it to one person.
Yeah.
Any group that is doing that is an unfocused group. Because what is it? What are you even trying to do?
And that is what most people are doing.
Yeah, because what are you even trying to do? I try to discourage members because number one, you're putting the members into test. Today I have money, and then the day that I'm supposed to contribute to the third person, I don't have the money.
Yes.
The third person will receive the money less mine. The fourth person will receive together with mine. How will this person demand his from me? And how will we fill the gap? So it's a very traditional method, which today does not really, it's not even something that I should be able to encourage groups.
Yeah.
When I do training to the groups, that is one thing that I tell them. Don't go that direction. You start from the table banking perspective. Now let me get back to the other concept pretty quickly so that you get to understand. So we come together, we form the group, we open a bank account, two types of bank account. The first one is each member is having a virtual, it's more or less like a virtual bank account. I can be able to receive reports from that bank about how much I've been able to save. There is a schedule, it's called CSR.
Yeah.
It comes out every week. So I see how much I've been able to save. But I'm not able to access that account. Even if I go alone to the bank,
Yeah.
I can't access, I can't see. It is a group, is account within that main account that we formed. Then the second account is where we can put some money, which we can use as a group for some other perspectives. Now, when we have been able to put our funds together, you see we shall have been able to save, Amia, I save 300, she saves 500, you save 1,000. That amount of money, it goes to your account specifically. So when it goes to your account specifically, you are able to know how much total you've been able to save. So when you want a loan, you tell the members that I want a loan. Then the members will look at you and say that how much do you want and what do you want to do it, to use it for. Then they do the vetting. They even come to your house. In fact, those are some of the rules that I had put.
Yeah.
We go to your house and we inform your wife that you want to take a loan. And your wife signs that you are taking a loan.
But my wife was not saving.
Yes. She must be able to ascertain because some of the guarantee or some of the security is going to be your house items. So the spouse must be aware that you would want to take the loan. So once she has signed that, then we look at how much you want. We look at your savings. And that institution we registered ourselves with tells us that we can be able to borrow up to 5 times what we've been able to save. So the financial institutions give us an opportunity. Once we have vetted this person and we are convinced, because if we do a wrong job and the person ends up getting lost, and we have suffered, we end up contributing, every member, to pay that loan. And suppose we are defeated or we are finding ourselves unable, the bank simply goes to our that virtual account that I told you.
Yeah.
He just go there and then he just do a haircut, fills that gap, and life continues. And no one, do you know what it takes to save even 100,000?
Yeah.
And somebody comes wants to deduct 20,000 at once, you will not accept. It happened once and we said never. Never. So that is some of the regulations we can be able to use in order to make this thing work, basically, as a group.
All right. CPA,
Yes.
now how do you deal with record keeping? Because this is also something that it contributes to most of these CHAMAs failing because of course, lack of trust.
Yes.
And some people also want to out, especially people who are in the merry-go-round way, when Isha is discouraging that.
Yes.
But now how do you keep track of records?
Yeah, and probably before I even get to the records, it's important to mention that since we are talking about the youth, many of the youth are not in formally structured CHAMAs.
Yes.
These ones are probably people who have hustled a bit and gotten to that level. Most,
And are just surviving.
yes, most youth are basically coming together and they are trying to emulate what our moms would do.
Yeah.
The merry-go-round kind of thing. But many of them now are getting into the space of investments because there's a lot of information being pushed about the Nairobi Securities Exchange, about money market funds, about special funds. So many of them are getting digitally through digital platforms where they are contributing maybe into a fund, into an MMF. So the records are basically the M-Pesa statements and so on. But if you go online now, we also have apps, like he's mentioning, where you have your own record, what you're contributing into the CHAMA. And we have service providers who are feeding into that space so that you're able to track the records. But at the basic level, the previous CHAMAs we have had manual books, recording, merry-go-round, you gave me the money and so on. But for the youth, what they are doing, they form maybe even WhatsApp groups, where when you contribute, they list everybody, the person who has made their payments. But the risk with that, as he's mentioning, is if I contribute and during my turn, there is no contribution. But if you're doing it as an investment, we are placing this money in a money market fund. We are placing this money in a special fund where we expect it to compound. Then even if you don't contribute, at least we know we have your share there. So we can, at the point of distribution, we can be able to meet those gaps. But as you mentioned, record keeping is very, very important for these CHAMAs because without records, then they can fail. The other problem that arises is now we have met together as a CHAMA, we have invested, we have put in our records right. Now where do we invest? Because there is that question. Many of the youth are not exposed to the appropriate types of investments. They don't differentiate. And that also now comes with its own dangers. Yes.
All right, we'll be getting into also proper channels to invest these monies once we've also saved them. But Anne, have you had issues with accountability in these CHAMAs that you're in one, yeah? Has there been a point where, you know, maybe members of your group or you yourself have raised issues, you know, with regard to accountability in that CHAMA?
Accountability is not necessarily the issue. The issue comes in now when it comes to now finances, because 1 month I might be okay, the next month I'm not. So you see, keeping up with the goal becomes a challenge. But then also accountability is not a challenge per se. But now, when it comes to now records, right now everything is online, right? Yeah. So when we have that MMF account, MMF sends us statements each and every time about also deposits of now each and every member. So when I send money now, you send tomorrow, you send the other day, each and everyone is able to know that you sent this amount of money. Yeah, so accountability is not an issue per se. The issue comes to now contribution. Contribution meaning that, okay, sometimes if I have money, if I don't. So that is the major challenge with youths when it comes to now, I mean, keeping up with the goal.
Yeah. So I'll be able to contribute this week, and then next week maybe I won't have that 300 shillings to contribute. We're going to use your 300 shillings as an example, Lisha. Yeah. But also you mentioned something about real estate investment, and when you're looking at, you know, some of the investments that the young people run to usually is land, yeah? But does this really make sense, especially in this day and age?
Well, if there is something that will always keep making sense, is the real estate investment.
Yeah. That's inclusive of land.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. CPA will agree with me that amongst the very many vehicles of investments, land still forms a bigger part of preferable investment channel, investment vehicle. Because of several reasons. Number one, we talk about stability. Number two, we talk about the land banking. That is, you take your money, keep it in the land, and then you look at it as it appreciates. Even though there are a lot of arguments within that appreciation, whereby you don't see now the cash movements, and then liquidity perspectives, whereby you cannot be able to convert it now from land to money quite easily. But I can be for sure able to tell you that as a group, you need more of if you're looking long term in terms of your survival, you need more of a fixed and stable investment vehicle that you can be able to use in terms of storing your money. Now, in the context under which I brought it, land forms a preferable way of keeping our security because, number one, it is that being difficult to convert to cash discourages the members to really exit the group. So when we put our money in MMF, for instance, somebody can simply come and say, I want my money, I want to get out. Simply give me my money. But when it is in land, number one, we suffer the problem of valuation. So how much do you think the land is worth now? And for you to start determining how much it is worth now, in order to know what amount you need from that, so that you can be able to exit, is already difficult work. So it discourages you.
So it's a trap.
Yeah, so it's a trap, basically, that we are using to ensure stability. Yes, I joined that CHAMA for riders in 2017. So 2017 till now, how many years are those? Those are like about 8 or so years.
Yeah. 8, 9.
Yes, 8, 9 years. But there's those who have been able to leave the group, and what they say is that I leave, simply count for me how much I contributed towards that project of the land, and return it to me. You see, now that's advantageous compared to value the land, get me my portion so that I can be able to live. So the real estate bit is kind of ensuring a bit more permanence when it comes to the survival of these groups. But when it comes to now the agenda and the mindset of the youths today, I might also appreciate, I must also appreciate the fact that the level of thinking of the current youth, the immediacy nature of how they view things is quite different. And so in advising such group of people, it may also not be able to be a viable option for them. Even if you tell them that, contribute this money and put it in land, you know, it may not be a very viable option for them. Reason being, number one is the view with which they look. They look at it from a perspective of a traditional way of doing things. The youths of today are more of being, nomadic in terms of their stay. A youth today here is comfortable in Mombasa, but then he can simply leave and go to Garissa and settle there, and he doesn't care. And he can leave again there, to go to another town altogether. So the idea of land may not really make a lot of sense when it comes to that group. Two, like she's been able to bring up the matter, you are meeting up online. Everything you're doing online, you invest online. It will not also make a viable option because one person is in Mombasa, another one in Kisumu, another one in Nairobi. When you start thinking about land, where are you going to settle to buy the land? How are you going to convince whoever is in Kisumu that the land is based in Mombasa and it is viable and it's okay? So in that case, Such kind of groups can maybe maximize their investment options within the a bit more liquid options, like now the MMF, like the bonds, like the bills, you know, the TBs and the bonds and the MMFs are a bit more comfortable in terms of the liquidity convertibility and also accountability aspect. You know very well that we bought a bond worth maybe 100,000 and it's supposed to go for 5 years. It's supposed to be giving us a coupon of this rate, and they're supposed to be giving us also an interest of this rate. And so this is so everybody can be able to give you the numbers at their fingertips, and so it becomes a more favorable option for them. And lastly, about the inclusivity, that they can be able to put that money in probably a particular financial institution, and they can be able to borrow more, make more interests, and be able to survive and make themselves become much more inclusive.
CHAMAs pia ziko na low interest rates, right, for people who want to borrow. A CPA now looking at it, you know, when we're talking about real estate investment, what do the young people get wrong? Because you know, Isha anasema right now the youth mindset is not really about land, but we do have people who still think about land as an investment option. But what are some of the things that we get wrong when we're looking at real estate as a form of investment, the CHAMA way?
Yeah, in my thoughts, and as Isha has mentioned, people go for real estate with the connotation or the imagination of security. But the inefficiency in starting your investments in real estate is too expensive. What you lose in the long run is so much. Because real estate is safe. It is an issue that it does not lose value. But you see, it's illiquid. That is one. Two, what is the real return in real estate? Because they are, and repeatedly here we have spoken of MMF as an investment, and I would want to hasten and say we don't use MMF primarily for investments. MMFs are used for emergency funds and sinking fund, because the returns in MMF, you see the regulation of where MMFs invest, they almost match the treasury bill rates. So if you're investing in an MMF, assuming in Kenya we have an inflation of 5%, and the MMF is giving you 7%, what sort of investment is that? Where you're only going to be making 3% real return. So there are other investments, and when you look at investments are classified into two.
You mentioned something interesting.
Yes.
An emergency fund and a sinking fund.
Yes.
What are these? How different are they?
An emergency fund basically is you're placing money there just in case something comes that is of an urgent nature. It does not destabilize your life. Maybe illness, maybe it's a question of a court case, or a fire, natural calamity, and so on. So that would be, we have some 500,000 shillings that can quickly sort out an emergency. That's MMF. Or a sinking fund. We want to do a major project, and this project will cost us 10 million. So we don't have the 10 million upfront, but everybody can be contributing a certain amount per month, so that eventually we'll get to, and then it is also earning some interest. But the interest earned in an MMF is not sufficient enough for us to go and park money and say this is our investment plan. There are other lazy investments that will give you a bit of return, maybe 15%, 17%, 20%. Here we are looking at things like special funds, SACCOs. Now when you look at compounding in those vehicles, they still outdo real estate by several folds. The only reason why real estate comes out as a winner in the long run is that people are not disciplined enough. So I'm imagining if I'm to compound my money, say in the NSC, any day I may feel maybe it's over Christmas, I'm very joyous, I decide to sell my shares when the price is very low. But if it's land, I try selling over Christmas, I will get a buyer 3 years or 4 years later. So that pressure will have already gone. So that is why people default to land and real estate. But proper investment, if you're properly investing at the startup space, CHAMAs should even be advised to avoid going directly into real estate. Like over the weekend, I was conducting a training, a member education for a circle on financial literacy. And on the sideline, one gentleman came and told me they have a CHAMA, and so far they have collected 4 million shillings, and it's lying in the bank. And now one of the discussions they had was whether they can put up a hall for meetings. They're in a small town in a place called Kiritiri, whether they can do a hall so that they can be charging meetings. And I'm asking them, One, will your 4 million be sufficient to do a meeting hall?
Yeah.
That will mean they may go for debt. Secondly, how much revenue would they generate from that meeting hall? So, and we were doing simple mathematics with him. What if this money was in a special fund? 4 million shillings means every year you'd be generating 800,000 at a return of about 20%.
Yeah.
What if now you compound this over several years? Within a short time, you are likely to find every 3.7 years, they are doubling their money. So if they did that and it gives them that liquidity, they can then subsequently now move to real estate. But if they start with real estate, they will go buy land, probably maybe 500,000. They are left with 3.5 million.
Yeah.
Start their construction. When they are halfway, the money is gone. Members are not willing to contribute enough. They start making noise that the project is being mismanaged and so on, and they lose the entire 4 million. So when you look at the investment, it's proper for people to understand we have passive and active investments. And within the passive space, because real estate tends, of course, to be passive,
Yeah.
within the passive space, we have those that are liquid enough and those that are generating frequent money, and they can be easily accessible. That accessibility should not be taken as a disadvantage. Of course, it has its limitations that you can be tempted to withdraw, but with proper structure and focus. Like, for them, they are very focused.
Yeah.
I don't see why they would believe that the only way to secure their money would be land. And I was talking to someone else who was telling me that if you look at people who work in banks, banks are generating so much money. Why would a branch manager, for instance, be paid only 300,000 shillings and they are generating millions? And we did calculations recently. I'm just trying to remember things that we have done off the head. We did calculations for a manager who is saving 100,000 shillings a month. Earning 300,000, surely that person can afford to set aside 100,000. In 15 years, at 20%, that person will have a fund of 100 million, generating 20 million shillings.
That is through
a year.
MMF.
No, not MMF, through a special fund, because the rates are a bit higher when you. Now, what if that person goes to maybe the NSC and decides every month I will be buying shares? Because you see, when you buy shares, you're not buying into equity. These are companies that are actively generating. And the other thing, when you go to these other investments, you can diversify. You can say, as a CHAMA, this year we have been buying equity group. Next year we'll be buying cooperative bank. Next year we'll be buying. But if it's land, you're buying one piece that is very fixed in one specific location.
Yeah. But is it true that land appreciates and that doesn't depreciate? Because I'm looking at it from the point of it's just sitting there. You know, especially if the hakuna plot imesimamishwa hapo that brings in money every month, then it's depreciating in value because it's in liquid. There's no liquidity going on there. It's just sitting.
No, what happens with land
Yeah.
is that it grows in value because of scarcity. You know, land is fixed in number,
Yeah.
and our population is growing. We are now 50. The last census, we were in our 50s. When it's extrapolated, we are almost doing 60 million. We expect by the time we do another census, probably we'll be in the 70s, 80 million. But the amount of land remains constant.
Yeah.
So as the demand soars, then you would expect that the price continuously grows.
So it also depends
Yes.
with where you decide to buy that land.
And what is happening within the vicinity.
Because you cannot say you're going to buy land somewhere in Turkana. That's when it will depreciate.
No, it does. It will eventually, even Turkana itself, there is population and roads are coming up, infrastructure. So land will always grow in value. But the pace at which it grows is not the same with other more liquid investments that are being used in actual production. The other limitation with land is at the point you want to sell it, you must sell it without pressure. Because what happens, I buy a piece of land for, say, 1 million shillings, or even, let me say, 100,000. Within, land grows at a rate of about 6 to 7%. But so within maybe, say, like 5-6 years, land that I bought at 100,000, I'm being told is worth now, say, 180 or 200,000 or 250,000. But if I try putting it in the market, and the market is correct, is 250,000.
Yeah.
But when I go to sell it, people will sense that, why am I selling land? Because land is something you should hold. So they will start asking me, can you accept 180,000? So if I'm really needy, they will force me, the market itself will force me to bring the price down. But when I don't want to sell it, then I'm told the value is 300,000.
Yeah.
So the liquidity of land is something that CHAMAs must think.
Yeah.
And many CHAMAs actually are slowed down by that. We form a CHAMA, we regularize it, we go to land. If we had invested elsewhere and come up with to land as a backup, we would have made much more progress and much more wealth.
And talk to us about some of the investment options that you've tried to explore in your CHAMA.
With us youths now, everybody is going the digital way. We are not focused on now getting land and those previous forms of investments, because now you see with now things like digital assets, you find that more youths accumulate now capital to be able to now at least invest in property, but not buying the actual property. Things like now rates come in. Now finding ways to now fund these properties, but then not directly linked to now buying the properties. Then also you find that youths also are into now buying stocks, buying shares, and also that. So the current youth isn't for the previous form of investments, but now more on the digital kind of
investments.
Yes, kind of investments, like now shares, bonds, bills, MMFs, special funds, rates and stuff like that. So right now youths are more focused on now digital investment platforms rather than the formal investments.
All right, Isha, as you wrap up the show for us now, talk to the youth. What should we be looking out for, when we want to join CHAMAs? Is it a nitty-gritties before you join? Because there's somewhere I was reading that, if you start a CHAMA with your friends and families, then that's the beginning of that CHAMA's downfall. And umesema nyinyi mlianza as riders of Kitengela there. As you also debunk that for us, starting CHAMAs with families and friends, and also what should we look out for before joining these CHAMAs?
I think that is also another interesting question, because the failures that many CHAMAs have been able to suffer, it's because either the members did not align in terms of their vision. And so when they came together, it was a hype. See, we can do this thing. Why don't we just come together and see? And then everybody is hyped up, and then after hyping up, then you realize that now is when you come to realize that the vision is not aligning. Number two is also about not being able to be authentic. There's a certain CHAMA that we formed. And when we formed this CHAMA, I talked to a few people, and then when we came together, the members, suggested that we can come together and do 10,000 a month. Then one member said that you people are jokers. 10,000 shillings. No, that I don't think I can join such a CHAMA. And as he's giving the example, he says that we have another CHAMA that we are doing 100,000 a month. Then you realize that others, somebody doesn't want to say that I am not capable of that much, but you just want to pretend to go along with others. And then when now the real race begins, you realize that you are unable to even do the first installment of whatever you agreed upon. So it is very important that the visions are well aligned, then you are authentic to each other, and then the transparency is also promoted. Now come back to the perspective of starting a CHAMA with the people that maybe you're related. Every family has got their own issues, and every relations has got one or two hiccups that can be affecting them. So when you come together as a group of relatives, it is only sufficient that you come together for the welfare of the family, but not looking at it like we want to develop and so contribute this, I contribute that. in families, there is just that natural inborn competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody wants to see himself doing better than another family member. Somebody wants to emerge as the one who is leading in terms of a certain lifestyle, a certain investments, a certain way of through which, you know, even wealth. So it might bring a lot of commotions and also attritions within the members. What is it that is important that a youth should be able to look at before joining a CHAMA? Number one is, as an individual, what do you really want in life? I was talking to youths over the weekend, that is on Saturday and Sundays, a group of 150 youths at Langata Women's Prison. And these youths, if there's something that I try to bring into the mindset of the youth, is that as an individual, what is your focus in life? What do you want to achieve? And how do you want to achieve these things? Can you be able to enlist them? Once you've enlisted what you want to achieve, and I will give an example. I don't want to talk cosmetically that just write, put, you know.
Yeah. Like a motivational speaker.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. In fact, I normally say that I speak to transform, not to motivate, because motivation starts you off, but does not keep you going. You get it? So when you say that as an individual, in the next 5 years, I want to drive a CX-5. That is your goal. And nobody should discredit or look at it like that's a very weird kind of a goal.
Yeah.
So you say, I want to drive a CX-5 in the next 5 years. The next question is, how am I going to achieve this goal? So how much is a CX-5? 3.5 million. And how long will it take me to get this money? I will be able to take the 5 years. How much am I supposed to put down now? Then how can I be able to get this financial inclusion to such a way that I can get this money? Now that is what starts to direct your mind. That you cannot be able to put up maybe 100,000 or 80,000 monthly to achieve the 3.5 million in 5 years. Meaning now you need an external helping hand. So that external helping hand starts to direct your thoughts. Can I join this group? How long will I save with them to get this amount of money to allow me buy this particular asset? Correct? Then it starts to now direct your thoughts. You get now the kind of the group that you'd want. So you'll be able to look at a group that can fulfill that desire or that goal. That is one thing to look at. Is this group that I'm going to join able to fulfill my desires and my goal? The number one exclusive pointer. Then number two, you look at the kind of people that are here. The group has got the financial perspective, but there is also the bit of the chemistry. You come to a group and you realize that you just don't like certain characters, even the way they talk, even the way they do things. In as much as the group is focused, is doing everything right, but the chemistry is not aligning. So what do? You know, you go to where you think the chemistry can align. There's another group that I am in. One of the rules, it is a very biased rule. No ladies.
Gender bias.
No, very biased.
You're discriminating.
Yes, not in the discrimination sense, but now that is one of the rules that group has subscribed to. Correct?
Why do you think so?
So
As we wind up, this is getting interesting.
So you see now, the founders of that group had got their reasons as to why they said no. Ladies. Even if probably to try to find out, by the way, why no ladies? There are a lot of so many things that can spark a debate even when we are here. But so when you are a lady and you approach that group, do you think it can be able to fulfill your desires? First of all, you can't get access, correct? Then number two, if they were to bend that rule and admit you, you will find yourself one lady amongst all men. Then will that be comfortable for you? You get it? So you look at where the chemistry binds a lot. Now, lastly, you look at now the areas and the levels of accountability of this particular group. There are groups that from the very beginning, just from the outlook, they are a failing concern. They are not a going concern. They are a failing concern because you realize that members do not attend the CHAMAs. Members are always late. there are no fees for penalties, or if the penalties are there, they're not being paid. And you come to realize that that transparency, the way things are done, the focus and the seriousness is compromised. So that means that the group is not moving forward. So a youth should be concerned about those three main areas.
All right.
Your goal, the chemistry, and then the accountability and transparency of that particular.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time for us to have this conversation on CHAMAs. Can youth groups be the new investment hack? We are opening this conversation still on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and on YouTube. We're next at TV47 Digital. We've been speaking to CPA Anthony Njiru, financial expert, Anna Cheng, a financial consultant, and of course, Isha Dunga, financial consultant as well. Waambie waniad kwa hiyo group yenye hataki wanawake. I will behave well.
Yeah.
You can tag me at Anna_Did on all these socials so we can be able to sample your feedback as they keep on coming. 0793267279 is our WhatsApp line. Keep interacting with us. Keep sending your voice notes and keep sending your videos. That brings us to the end of this segment. You're watching TV47 Breakfast. My name is Ann Odida. Don't go too fast. Stay right here. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good morning.